As China's travel rush begins, let's go now to Zhenhua Chen, to talk about the logistics for those 9 billion trips. He's an assistant professor in the city planning at Ohio University. Thanks so much for joining us. It's a huge number.
Thank you for having me.
Huge number, 9 billion trips expected to be made in this 40-day period of festivities, the largest annual human migration. Can you talk about the mass logistics that must have to go into an event like this?
Well, first of all, the Chinese spring travel season is unique in the world. It definitely has the largest migration in such a relatively short period of time. It is known as a Chunyun, so it's spring travel season. Ranges from usually 14 days before the Chinese New Year and also the days after. During this time, there will be quite a mix of the travelers, including students, migrant workers, and people who wanted to reunite with their families. And so you will see all huge migrations from major cities such as Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, to those other cities such as Chengdu, Chongqing in the west and the southeast part of China. So after the Spring Festival, what you will see is that there's going to be a reverse of travel pattern, and those people who have finished their holiday will going back to the workplace. And that's how it created huge travel demand in such a short period of time.
And observers and economists predict that the upcoming holidays will see consumption spree, an economy on the move, so to speak. How does this migration impact businesses, but does it also damage some in the sense that I imagine some companies must have to close over this period?
Well, absolutely, you're right. So definitely we have seen that usually during the travel peak seasons, there will be a huge opportunities for economic prosperity, especially as we know that for the service-related sectors and such as restaurant, hotels, and there will be expected to have a huge revenues again during this period of time. Certain companies obviously will close during this travel peak seasons simply because it's the day that everybody deserves a break. So it's not a big losses from the economic standpoint of view, but it's definitely going to be a much more encouragement, particularly given COVID-19 has huge impacts on the tourism and travel, and this is the time all these businesses will try to bounce back.
And given China's move towards green technology, how does Beijing allow for its goals of sustainability and, putting the environment forward during this time? Are there extra charging stations for electronic cars? What are some of the carbon offsets and issues that they're trying to approach over this period?
Well, absolutely. This is a great question. In fact, we can look into this question in several angles. So number one, and we have known that China has developed the world's largest high-speed rail system with now 48,000 kilometers of high-speed rail. That project itself is actually promoting green transport, sustainable transport. Imagining putting all these people on the trains and traveling efficiently. So itself has reduced a lot of the carbon emissions. Secondly, we have also seen that recent years there's a huge development of EV technologies. People have been trying to purchase more vehicles, and the EV sales has been on the tremendously high. Now, regarding the EV charging station, that's also a rapidly evolving areas. We have seen that 97% of all these highway services centers has now installed the charging stations. So we would definitely see more people will driving their lovely EVs on the road, and those charging stations will be Ayhan demand.
All right, Zhenhua Chen, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.